Good morning and welcome back to our garden. Today we're going to prune and tie up our blackberries and our raspberry canes. But first we need to feed the birds and the squirrels and then collect our supplies. So come on and help me. Now the raspberries are going to take the most work. So we're going to start down with the blackberries. Because this summer I trimmed off all the dead blackberry canes. So it's going to be a lot less work down there. So let's get the shears and the zip ties. Now these blackberries are thornless. I think the variety is black satin. I'll put it down in the description. So I cut off all the old canes this summer in August after they fruited and they die. And all of these are new canes that grew up this summer. And they're going to fruit this summer. But we need to do a little bit of pruning for size and spacing. So this is a good example. I don't want those to grow down and touch the soil. Remember when we propagated berries and they touched the soil, they grew roots? I'd rather these go laterally. Now this summer, well, the spring and summer, all of these are going to grow little fruiting offshoots. And the fruit will grow on the end of those. So this cane is going to grow these little fingers with fruits on the end this summer. And when the fruit's done, all these canes you see right here, they're going to die. They're not going to fruit in the fall of 2024. They won't fruit in 2025. Only fruit the summer of 2024. But at the same time as these are fruiting, new canes are going to come up from the base. That's what's going to fruit the summer of 2025. It's important to leave these now because that's our summer fruit. See if I can film and do the zip ties at the same time. I can't really figure out where to put the tripod. It's so crowded. The fall vegetables are right here at my feet. This is an example of our most recent video where we propagated the berries. This tip, if it touches the soil, it's going to root. That's what we pulled up. So say I'd only bought 1 or 2 plants and I wanted them to spread. I could leave that. I mean, it's really close to the soil. And once it touches the soil, it's going to root. Then when it's rooted, I can cut it here and then tie it laterally and just kind of leapfrog down the trellis to spread the blackberries. But my trellis is full, so I don't want it touching the soil. I can either go behind me or in front. I think I want to train it this way. Now this is where the blackberries end. But here's one that I don't want. I want the raspberries to spread on this side. These blackberries have really aggressive growth. They have done really well. I can either cut it off or train it the opposite way, but the trellis is full down there, so I'm just going to take it off right here. Now you could propagate this. You could try to root it. Cut it, strip the leaves, put it in soil. Cut it, strip the leaves, put it in soil. But I've already propagated enough. Oh, I found one more. Now this summer, I let about 14 new canes grow, and I trimmed off all the others. I mean, there were a lot of other canes down there, but it gets too crowded. But let me show you what I mean by the canes that I let grow up this summer. So yeah, I counted 14. Then I trimmed them at various heights. Some lower ones, some middle ones, and some all the way at the top. And this causes them, well, on these 3 levels, to send out lateral branches. If I let them all grow just all the way as far as I wanted, they just flop over and it would be a mess. But like cutting this at the top, then it grew these 2 lateral branches. That's how I keep them under control. But I'm not picky. It's not perfect. Some go straight, some are crooked. Just a variety of ways. And I also don't grow behind the trellis, because these will put little fruiting fingers over the back, little fruiting branches over the back. There will be berries on both sides. I don't need more canes to grow up on the back side. It just gets too crowded. Now I like to keep the lower area clear, because by the time the fruit hangs down there, it's hard to see, it's easy to trip. And you would think the birds would want the fruit from the bottom, but no, they like to get the fruit higher up. That's our biggest challenge, is the birds. I've tried netting, but oh my goodness, it was so frustrating. I really struggled with it. Sometimes birds got stuck in it, and more often I got stuck in it. So we just share with the birds. And like this summer, we got many gallons of berries, and we still have a bunch in the freezer. I plan to make jam. Now the raspberries are very different. They're going to fruit twice. The blackberries, they just fruit once. I do want them to spread more. They're spreading slowly. I did buy 3 plants, raspberry plants, at the same time as those blackberries, but they just never really grew. This one I've had for quite a while, and it's just one plant that has slowly spread. It's really the best one. I think I know the variety. I'll put the name down in the description. I bought these both from Home Depot, but they don't sell these varieties anymore. But I can still put the name down in the description. Now all these canes just finished fruiting in November. Let me show you. Thorns. Okay. So this is where we picked off all of the fruit, and that was just the middle parts that were left. August until it froze. We call them our fall berries. But we're going to leave them because they're going to fruit again in June. They're all going to fruit again in June. At the same time, new shoots are going to come up this summer, spring and summer, just like the blackberries. New shoots are going to come up. That's what's going to fruit August 2024 until the freeze. But the blackberries, what comes up in the summer, isn't going to fruit in the fall. I am going to put gloves on, but first let's go get a bucket to put the trimmings in so we can compost it. These were the very last flowers, but they didn't have time to develop. Now here's the original plant. Let me show you the base. And it has slowly spread. 3 or 4 years. It's probably really more like 5. Every year it moves a little bit more. Now let's sit down and discuss different tie-up options. Now you've seen me use zip ties. That's the easiest for me. I don't like that they're plastic, but they're the easiest for me. I also have used this Echo twist. You can cut it to length. That feels a better option if you recycle the metal. But it's going to be more work. I've got quite a few already cut up. Then there's this stretchy tape. I bought this last year. For the berries, I really don't like how it looks. It's just the green stands out against the brown. So I'm not going to buy that again. And you can just use regular old cotton string. That you can put in the compost. It will eventually break down. Also, brown twine. That's another good eco-friendly option. There's a lot of different kinds of tie-ups. There's clamps, there's these little gadgets where it wraps around the plant, the little tie, a variety of things. But honestly, this is the easiest for me. I have arthritis and my hands wear out easy. Now this one will rust. Except for the string, you're going to have to pick all these up out of the garden. Okay, let's get these tied up. Okay, first I'm going to get out that green stretchy tape cut out. I see this area, it doesn't have any support. If I added support, if I extended this trellis, then I couldn't walk behind to harvest. So I tend to tie all those together and kind of pull them up against this pole. So we're going to do that first so these get better under control. Right now they look okay. They're nice and sturdy, but when the new heavy growth gets on there, they're just going to lean over. There's already new leaf buds on here. Life never stops. The birds have been busy. Okay, let's review. All of these raspberry canes, they grew new this summer, spring and summer, but they didn't fruit until fall. Looks better. And now they're going to fruit again in 2024 around June. Then they will die. And all these blackberries, they also grew in the summer, but they haven't fruited. But they will fruit the summer of 2024, but not in the fall. After they fruit in the summer of 2024, they'll die. So the raspberries fruit twice and the blackberries fruit once. And they're both going to send up new growth this spring and summer. Looks good. Now we need to clean up. Now we need to open the green stalk. sun's about to come around the corner. We're going to have to close it again tonight. It's going to be really cold. I didn't mention, it's mid-December right now. You can still see the Christmas flag. It's still Christmas here. I made a bunch of videos ahead to give myself a Christmas break. See how the sun's kind of coming around soon. I think it only gets about 2 hours of sunlight here in the winter. That's one reason I stacked them, to give it more access to rain and sun. Most of these plants can survive the cold, but some of them, like some of the herbs, sometimes they don't survive the winter, so that's why I'm covering them. Now the berries are all done until spring, because they're not going to grow anymore right now. If you're curious how I feed them, I don't buy any special fertilizer for berries. Now I will the blueberry bushes. I just put my coffee grounds around them, the fall leaves, old plant matter, old canes that I chop off, I'll leave around the base. I think I made a short about that. Just different organic matter, cardboard, but not too close, because you want to make sure the new canes can come up in the spring and summer. I just let it feed itself. So 4 years, every year we have plenty of berries. Oh, the other thing, I meant to check the price. Organic berries are expensive. And the shelf life is so short. It was a challenge before. We bought them a lot for Dale, and 2 days they were spoiled. So growing your own is really worth it. Because wow, they're expensive, and these are basically free. Now check back this winter, and I'm going to be making jam from the berries we harvested in the summer. I like to wait until the winter, the cold weather, so I don't heat up the house. But now I have a new electric canner, so that's exciting. Thank you for visiting our garden. See you later. Bye-bye.